direction of the economy, Dr. Bawumia, in his vision, proposed the following. Continuation of the free SHS policy. The free SHS policy has expanded access to education for generation of Ghanaians and many more to come by eliminating the cost barrier that hitherto had excluded many thousands, if not millions, from accessing secondary education. Technical and vocational training. TVET institutions are being revamped to meet the demands of industrialization and address unemployment through practical skills training. And this, I want to add here, is also part of the free SHS. So it's not only grammar school, but technical vocational training is part of the free senior high school policy. And Ghanaians, children or students who are participating in this policy are being built and enhanced for the future jobs market. Coding and robotics in schools. Bawumia plans to integrate technology education into the free SHS curriculum to prepare students for the digital economy. This plan underscores his vision of preparing the Ghanaian youth for the demand of the global digital economy. Mahama's tenure, ladies and gentlemen, lacked similar forward-looking educational reforms, leaving significant gaps in technological adoption and skill development in our system. Entrepreneurship training. Establishing skill-building programs for the youth to foster innovation and create sustainable jobs. Bawumia's educational policy, which emphasizes entrepreneurship and skills training, aligns education with economic empowerment and promotes innovation and self-reliance. Former President John Dramani Mahama's proposal do not address youth unemployment through targeted education and training reforms. The third theme, agriculture policies for development. Dr. Bawumia envisions a modernized agricultural sector to improve food security and rural livelihoods. Expansion of irrigation infrastructure. Building large-scale irrigation projects to support all-year farming. The Bawumia administration will invest massively in irrigation expansion programs to manage and rehabilitate existing systems and improve access to mechanized farming, mechanized farming to boost productivity and promote commercial farming in Ghana. A key component is soil fertility initiative, implementing soil enhancement programs to boost crop yields and productivity. And this will ensure profitability, especially for rural small-scale farmers, smallholder farmers, and our usual rural farmers would increase their profitability and ultimately will improve the quality of rural life. Mechanization support, providing farmers with affordable access to modern farming equipment to increase their efficiency and productivity. Agro-processing industries. Promoting the establishment of processing industries to add value to agricultural products for local consumption and export. Emphasis will be placed on empowering small-scale and women farmers with better access to credit, insurance, and training in modern agricultural practices. One of the key things that we'll see disappear is under Bawumia administration would be the perennial glut in production, where we see a lot of tomatoes, we see a lot of watermelons and other fruits that are left to spoil. The intensification of the One District, One Fact agenda and the particular focus on agro-processing will ensure that all these produce that are produced yearly are leveraged and are processed for domestic use and for export. Food security and price stability, and all of us are concerned about that. Inflation recently, we all are thankful that it's come down from a very high 54.1 in 2022. Today it's come down considerably and it's trending down. The hope is that it will continue to come down. And this has not come down just because they wanted to, but they've come down because specific policy regimes are put in place to ensure that food, which is a key driver in the computation of the inflation measure, is actually dealt with, and we are trending at a point where these will continue to come down and food prices will be affordable and low for Ghanaians. The Bawumia plan will finance farmers to expand food production, processing and storage, stabilize food prices, and ensure a steady supply in the market by working with the Development Bank of Ghana and other financial platforms. The fourth theme is social development policies. Recognizing the economic hardship faced by many Ghanaians, Dr. Bawumia proposes pragmatic measures to alleviate poverty and improve living standards. And most of you are aware, under a Bawumia administration, more resources will be allocated to the National Rental Assistance Program, which currently supports a significant number of Ghanaians, especially young people, who are starting up in life to afford accommodation in our big cities and towns. That will be intensified and that access will be brought. And coupled with some strategic investment to boost our housing stock, we'll be in a position to overall lower the cost of accommodation and access to it. There's also one of the key issues here is energy subsidy. One of the key factors in terms of cost is cost of energy. Reducing electricity costs through VAT exemption for households and promoting solar alternatives to bring down costs. Let me just pause here briefly to let you know one of the reasons that we started a bit late was I was out there trying to appreciate how Ghanaians are embracing the electronic vehicle or the electronic bus public transport system that Dr. Bawumia promises in the manifesto, but yet was commissioned today. Driving from the airport, I saw the bus on the streets and how Ghanaians were enchanted by it. This is, ladies and gentlemen, a fulfillment of a promise that's supposed to start from 2025. For me, the takeaway from that commissioning today is the fact that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is committed, and everything he's saying he believes can be done and will be done. And that, for me, for those who are listening and those who have seen the bus, it is a testament that our choice is clear. Our choice of who we bring in to lead Ghana here on is very clear, and we cannot equivocate about it. We cannot wonder who we want to lead this country from January 7, 2025, because we have a man who has demonstrated with the least office given him, least in quote, as a vice president of the country, and what he has done with that to suggest to us that if given more, he would do exceedingly well with that office. Yes, this afternoon, the electronic bus, if you heard about it, that manifesto is alive in Ghana, it's working, and very soon, if you take the opportunity, you'll enjoy that, and it'll be cheaper. And more of it will lead to lower cost of transportation and cost of living overall in our country. Health infrastructure expansion. The Bawumia plan will enhance healthcare access to rural population, increase NHIS enrollment for underserved communities, and increase investment in healthcare infrastructure and services. That is key, and as most of you know, owing to my recent misfortune, I've become very, very interested in healthcare issues, And I think that Bawumia administration will be good for Ghana in terms of his investment in the healthcare sector. A central piece in ensuring access is the spirited completion of the Agenda 111 hospitals and the addition of significant numbers of CHIPS compounds and health posts to boost primary care access, especially in rural communities. Job creation initiatives. The Bawumia plan will address unemployment by creating millions of jobs through entrepreneurship, digitalization, ICT skills development, and industrialization. And I did mention earlier about the One District, One Factory. And also, those of you who are familiar with our manifesto, we've talked about it here at the previous press conference about a plan to create 1 million jobs in the IT space, which by and large will position Ghanaian youth globally to be able to access IT jobs right here in Ghana without necessarily having to move. Those jobs are available. What is necessary is the election of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the deliberate investment to create those opportunities for our young people to take advantage of that opportunity that is already out there. Enhanced social interventions. The Bawumia plan is committed to expanding the free SHS, as I indicated earlier, and livelihood empowerment against poverty to cover more vulnerable groups. And you know, I stand to be corrected on numbers, but since we came to office, we have expanded the LEAP program almost by 100% in terms of the payout and in terms of the numbers. And His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is committing to intensify that, not only in terms of the payout, but expanding the groups that should benefit from that program. But all in all, an understanding that the government must be there for its citizens, and Dr. Bawumia is committed to doing that for our country and our people. This initiative will include targeted support for women, children, and persons with disabilities. Gender empowerment. The Bawumia administration is committed or will be committed to gender equality, including promoting women in leadership and supporting female entrepreneurs through tailored financial and technical assistance programs. Expanded access to healthcare system. Dr. Bawumia's vision for Ghana's healthcare sector is to build an inclusive, technology-driven system that ensures equitable access to quality healthcare services for citizens, for Ghanaian citizens. His health policy will address the sector's long-standing challenges, such as inadequate infrastructure, staffing shortages, compensation, motivation for higher specialization, job satisfaction, and outcomes for patients. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's plan will significantly improve Ghana's healthcare infrastructure, access, and delivery. A cornerstone of the plan, again, as I mentioned this earlier, is the Agenda 111, the unprecedented investment in health infrastructure this country has ever seen since independence. He would continue that investment and ensure that the health infrastructure base of our country is sound and solid to take care of our growing healthcare needs in the country, and perhaps set us up as a hub for medical tourism in the sub-region. The plan will add, just for information, I'm sure you know this, the Agenda 111 plan will add 101 district hospitals and 6 regional hospitals in the newly created regions. When completed, they will provide high-quality health care at the district level to ease the pressure on tertiary hospitals like the Komfo-Anokye's and the Kolebu teaching hospitals, among others. And those of you who are conversant with these hospitals, the big hospitals, they have the pressure coming to them because most of the the primary level hospitals are mostly not able to absorb that. But if you have a situation where we have all these 101 district hospitals come on stream, it would completely alleviate that burden on these big or tertiary hospitals to ensure that they focus on their teaching and research mandates. Modernization of existing facilities. Regional and district hospitals will be renovated and upgraded to provide state-of-the-art equipment and facilities for specialized care. The centralized electronic medical record system will be extended to ease data management challenges and facilitate patient care and referral management. Establishment of new hospitals. The Bawumia plan will intensify the building of new hospitals, new health facilities to underserved communities. And I mentioned this earlier, mainly in rural areas, to reduce the travel time and cost associated with accessing healthcare outside their immediate environment. It will also deepen the provision of free maternal health care, child immunization, and nutritional support for pregnant women and infants. The provision of specialized centers of excellence. To reduce dependence on foreign medical treatment, the Bawumia administration will invest in specialized centers for advanced care, including cardiology, oncology, and nephrology. Focus on primary health care. Strengthening primary health care facilities to handle basic medical needs, thus reducing the burden on tertiary hospitals, I just mentioned some of them, Konfanochis, Kolebu, and some of the regional teaching hospitals. This will deepen, this effort will ensure the deepening of digitization of the National Health Insurance Scheme to enhance access, eliminate fraud, and ensure timely reimbursement of service providers. Training and retention of health workers. Increasing investment in training programs for doctors, nurses, and allied health professionals. This initiative will offer scholarships and incentives to encourage specialization in high-demand fields and ensuring equitable distribution of healthcare workers across the country, particularly in rural and deprived areas. So the use of incentive and enhancing job satisfaction for medical professionals will be escalated and ensure that the environment is conducive and that they can stay and serve their communities for the overall health of our economy and our countrymen. Improve working conditions. To reduce brain drain, retain doctors, and achieve job satisfaction, the Bawumia plan will enhance salary and benefit for health professionals, including vehicle tax exemption, and improve workplace facilities to boost performance and morale. And I'm sure you are aware of these proposals in our manifesto. For the first time, medical professionals would have access to some exemptions in vehicle acquisition. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's vision to make Ghana competitive and take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution. The NPP's call for Ghanaians to vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the next president of the Republic is clear in the bold solution summaries that I've just read to you under these 5 themes. We invite you, ladies and gentlemen, and all Ghanaians who are eligible to vote, starting 2nd December 2024, to vote massively for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the NPP's parliamentary candidates across the country, based on the relevance and the workability of these policies that I just read to you. And I invite you also to take advantage of our the availability of our manifestos online to acquaint yourselves with the details in there and to assess for yourself how practical these are and make the decision based on facts, not on emotion, not on any of the threatening violence that the NDC is putting out there, but on sound ideas that are capable of transforming our economy to make Ghana the best place for us all to live and flourish. So, ladies and gentlemen, compared to the former President John Dramani Mahama, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the best choice for Ghana and should be your best choice when you cast your vote on Monday. And most of you here, I'm sure, will be voting on Monday. Please do that because it's beyond emotion. It is beyond like or dislike. It is a choice that you're making for yourself to be part of a decision that moves Ghana forward rather than regress our lot. And so I invite you as potential voters starting December 2nd, Monday, to consider your own interest, which is what Dr. Bawumia represents, and cast the vote for number one, for President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the NPP parliamentary candidate, wherever you'll be voting. As I said, compared to the former President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is our best choice for these reasons. One, Bawumia offers a superior policy solution for Ghana's next chapter. And so if you are voting, you wonder, what is in it for Ghana? What is it that the NDC candidate, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, saying that is compelling, that is practical, that is workable, that demonstrates from his record that he can actually do the things he's saying? And compared to His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who I just told you what he has promised to help reduce cost of living in our country in the form of introducing electric buses, he has done. That was commissioned today and it's on the streets. It's not a mirage, it's actually out there, you can see it. Compared to him, I offer to you Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is offering real, relevant, and practical solution and workable solution, which are actually being delivered as we speak, to consider him for your vote on December 2nd, and on 7th if you are not voting on the 2nd. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, again, is a better choice because it provides an ingenious and a workable plan to sustain and build on the economic recovery we're experiencing presently. And if you listen to the NDC, nowadays they've acquired the habit of talking inflation. Now inflation is coming down, and they're talking about depreciation of the currency. We appreciate the difficulties that has brought to us as a people.
This week on Constituency Lens.
You see this thing? It's how much? 5 cedis. I have 3 kids. Looking at it, the school fees alone is killing me. They are saying free education, but forget about the free education. The books we buy, the things we buy, it's even more than the free education.
Cost of living is high. Looking at rent, water, and everything.
Here, they are not buying because the economy is very high. The passengers don't have money. Even if they drove the car inside and you ask them whether they...
Whilst the NDC is capitalizing on this misfortune and this hiccup, you ask yourself, what is their plan to reverse it? Assuming that you vote for them, what is in their plan that gives you confidence that they can reverse it? Right here, you have seen how this administration reversed the deterioration that took hold in 2022 and have actually stayed the worsening of the depreciation of the currency by coming up with an ingenious idea that has never been proposed, has never been tried. That is the Gold for Oil initiative that has succeeded in staying the strength of the city and ensuring that oil prices actually came down in our history. Growing up, when things go up in Ghana, they don't come back down. But we have seen it in our lifetime how the oil prices have come down And it was as a result of the currency position and how fast the cedi was depreciating in 2022. But that ingenious solution has reversed it. So as somebody told me in an example, to say that if you are flying anywhere, you want to be sure that the person sitting in the cockpit understands what he's there to do and can actually do it. It is not a question of who you like or who you don't like or who can dramatize issues better, but it is ultimately so that you can have somebody who will get you to your destination. And my argument to you is that the NDC has not provided, they have not one single evidence in their manifesto to tell you that this is how we are going to strengthen the city. They have not. The balance of it is English, turnover of words to create some impression, but in substantive, practical terms and measurable terms, they have not offered any solution in that department. But I'll tell you that leveraging our gold, which is part of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's initiative, will help us arrive at that destination where, as a country, our currency will be stabilized and will be stable for long term. Because we have the gold and we'll use the gold to back our cedi, which he has demonstrated, and as president will give every effort to that policy to ensure that it actually takes foothold. Bawumia, again, is good for Ghana and must be your choice on December 7th, or if you're voting early on December 2nd, because he will protect and strengthen the free SHS policy, which by all accounts has been a successful initiative, has been a thoughtful initiative, has been a compassionate initiative, has been a right initiative. Barring whatever implementation challenges it has been one of the major interventions in education in our country, and it is good for our people, and it has facilitated the education of some 5.7 million Ghanaian students. And I think that we should do everything we can in our power on December 2nd and 7th to ensure the preservation of this policy for our own children, for our siblings, our nephews and nieces to participate or benefit from this initiative. Bawumia, again, is a better choice for us, Ghanaians, than the alternative, because Bawumia will expand healthcare access by completing the Agenda 111 projects, equipping and operationalizing them, and ensuring job satisfaction for all healthcare professionals. Bawumia is a better choice for us on December 7th and December 2nd and 7th, because Bawumia will be accountable to Ghanaians, because he has 8 years allowable under the 1992 Constitution to be president. Therefore, he will necessarily deliver on these promises, some of which I have read to you, in order to merit your gifting him of a second chance when the time comes. Unlike the alternative, who has only 4 years to go, and later on I'll tell you about his own assessment of being having 4 years and what you can do with 4 years. Bawumia, again, is a better option, and as I told you earlier, he's been described variously, but one of such impactful and perhaps relevant description of him, which comes from people's experience of him, is that he is a thinker and a doer. And much of these ideas that we've spoken about, most of them are very new and incisive ideas. Just how we can be able to arrest the depreciation of the cedi and be able to bring down fuel costs in our country, and it comes up with this Gold for Oil initiative, which has helped in the limited period of time, which has helped to earn Ghana about 2.79 billion in foreign exchange to settle our obligations. That is incisive. And beyond that, I want to just let you know, Ghana, you have heard growing up, and if you go to Obuasi and many of the mining communities, we have been mining in this country for forever. But our own balance of gold, our gold reserve, was just about 9 tons when we started the gold purchase program by the Bank of Ghana. Can you imagine that? a gold mining company, a gold mining country. And all our reserve is 9 tons. About 8.7 tons was what we had to our name. But gold is a prized mineral. All we had was 8.9. By Dr. Bawumia's innovation and policy idea, we have started the Bank of Ghana Gold Purchase Program. Our reserve has incrementally gone up, and I think that if with time, we'll probably become one of the countries in the sub-region with the highest gold reserve, and that will be good for our economy, that will be good for our currency, and that will be good for our collective prosperity. Dr. Bawumia, again, is good and better for Ghana because Bawumia's economic plan is designed to make the Ghanaian youth globally competitive through his focus on information technology, coding and programming, robotics, AI, and the Internet of Things. That is a future economy, and Bawumia's ideas would put the Ghanaian on the center stage and make us competitive. And one of the reasons for this is that the globe is trending that way. AI is taking over. If we make a mistake and elect the alternative, they have no idea, they don't believe in it. They don't believe in it, their ideas don't align with the trend of the globe. And as my deputy is just suggesting, you remember the kinds of things they are talking about. Small ball politics. They are saying things that will tickle your fantasy in a sense that not necessarily tickle in a positive way, but to make you angry, to incite you against a government that is trying to do the best. I submit to you that if indeed there were any reasons why I think that you should vote for the NDC, I'll tell you. Because ultimately, whatever good idea they have, the implementation of it will help our country. But I can honestly tell you, this is no politics, this is not me trying to get you to vote for my candidate, the vice president, or our parliamentary candidates, but it's just plain truth. The NDC doesn't have it. They don't have it. Honestly, they don't. And you've been here, I've come here to tell you about their 24-hour economy. It's a great deception. Those who cannot keep the lights on for 12 hours say that they can give us 24-hour economy. It's a great deception. We shouldn't do that. The consequence of any election is enduring and in some cases generational. And we cannot afford to make this mistake. This is a pivotal moment for our country, and the decision we are going to make, we cannot take it personally. We cannot make it lightly. We should make it looking at the impact it would have on the future of our country and beyond. So I submit to you that Bawumia should be our choice. Bawumia means business, which means that he's better for Ghana. He would integrate the private sector into fiscal policy operations to deliver critical infrastructure, create meaningful jobs, and increase productivity. And most of us, we talk about roads, we talk about hospitals, talk about schools, and all of that. One of the ingenious ways Dr. Bawumia is proposing is that will include the private sector in the delivery of this infrastructure. And you know always, you pay attention to the budget, and if you look at government allocation for capital expenditure, they're often limited. How are you able to deliver all the infrastructure needs in any particular year with that limited amount of money? The one sure way to do it is to ensure that we engage in providing in integrating the private sector to build these infrastructures, and they will leverage that for ensuring that we achieve the infrastructural deficits that are in our country and ensure our people are better off than they were before. Bawumia means jobs. Again, I told you about the 1 million youth project to train about youth in IT development skills and make them globally employable. There are many more reasons I can tell you why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is better than the alternative John Dramani Mahama of the NDC. Simply because across this country, there is a general consensus among people that the Vice President, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has performed better in office than any Vice President in recent history. As stated earlier, Bawumia's initiative has led to Bawumia has initiated and implemented successfully about some 33 initiatives as Vice President, and I submit to you that as President, he will do exceedingly more than that. So, ladies and gentlemen of the media, I am sure, permit me to be a bit more pastoral at this point, I am sure you recall the parable of the bag of gold in Matthew 25:14 through 30. I summarize for you: a master entrusted his wealth to 3 of his servants. He gives 5 bags to one, 2 bags of gold to another, and 1 bag of gold to the third. The first 2 servants doubled the gold and returned it to the master upon his return. The third servant went straight and buried the bag of gold in the field and returned it to the master when he arrived. You know the details in between. The master was pleased with the first 2 servants, but cast out the third servant into the darkness. Ladies and gentlemen, Bawumia is an example of the good and faithful biblical servant because he has served Ghana well and deserves commendation and reward. The master in verses 28 and 30 made the following declarations, and I quote, "So, take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have in an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them, and throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." I didn't say this is the Bible. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is an example of the biblical wicked and lazy servant who did not live up to expectation in his 4 years as president of this republic. Ladies and gentlemen, like the master in Matthew 25, Ghanaians must vote on December 7th, or maybe let me go back a bit. Like the master, we voted in 2016 to cast out John Dramani Mahama because he had not met expectation. But somehow in 2020, he thought that the verdict on him in 2016 was a flash in the pan. So he came again in 2020, and we roundly confirmed that our decision was absolute and clear in 2016. So again, we voted him out. He thought himself he didn't understand. He went to the court, didn't have any evidence, and he was roundly rejected. A unanimous verdict against his bogus claim. The petition, the 2021 petition, election petition, was roundly rejected, just like the Ghanaians. Now, in 2024, he's going to try us again. He's trying us again. And with all humility, I entreat us all to give the NPP a landslide victory in a way to retire the former president permanently from politics. We must reject former President John Dramani Mahama because his 4 years as president brought untold hardship to Ghanaians. We slept in doomsday during those years. Businesses were destroyed. Youth employment broke world records, and the growing economy he inherited was collapsing by the time he left office. Most revealing is the fact that former President John Dramani Mahama gave up when his mismanagement made life difficult, and Ghanaians demonstrated to demand better economic management. He said no amount of demonstration, and I'm sure you remember this. He said no amount of demonstration will move him because he was a dead goat. Ladies and gentlemen, the balance of a leader's job is dealing with challenges. But from what we have seen from the former president, he has shown that he cannot deal with challenges. Therefore, on December 7, we must vote to show the former President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC that we, the people of Ghana, cannot afford the risk of electing a president who cannot respond to our needs in challenging times. The former president did not perform well, and this is essentially a matter known to all of us, and it's evident in the vote in 2016 and 2020. Did not perform well in office between 2013 and 2016. So he does not merit the reward, and given the scripture, we should not reward him. This is especially true when all he has is 4 years. And here's where I promised you I'll tell you about his own view about 4 years and what one can use it to do. He says 4 years is not enough to make a difference as a government. And so the question is, what has changed? The question is, what is it coming to do? The question is it now true that 4 years is enough to make a difference? Those are questions I know our former president cannot answer, which then goes to the heart of why we shouldn't vote for him, because he can't make any difference. He himself has said it, and it's a practical impossibility for him to do it. But rather, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has what it takes, has the allowable 8 years to be able to deliver in the first 4, to give a good account of himself so we can give him another 4 years. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, voting for the former president, John Dramani Mahama, will amount to taking Ghana back, and you and I cannot afford to take Ghana backward when our peers in the sub-region are striving forward. We the people, as I just read to you in scripture, are the masters of Ghana's destiny. We've entrusted our powers in the former president before, and we are about to do so again with a choice between him and His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And the invitation is for you, based on his delivery in the first 4 years, and based on the scripture we have read, since he has not performed well, he deserves no reward. So on December 7th, your decision must reflect the wisdom of the parable we just read in the Bible, to reward the good and faithful servant of the people, being Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, with your vote, because he has shown the potential to do even better for Ghanaians as president. Finally, let me make the appeal to you as you vote on December 2nd, and most of us on December 7th, starting with the special voting. Please cast your ballot for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the NPP parliamentary candidates. That will be number 1 across all the ballots, in line with what you know to be true, and what your expectations are, that when you give a piece of job to someone to do, those who do a good job, you invite again. Those who do a poor job, you will not invite. The verdict is clear on the former president's performance, 4-year performance in office. This is not me saying it. You and I, we voted massively in unprecedented manner to send him home simply because he didn't perform. And I invite you that we don't reward him because he had failed us, he had not been a faithful, he's not been a good and faithful servant of the people of Ghana. So therefore, on December 7th, let's vote for the one who has been faithful, who has been good to Ghanaians. His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should be your choice on December 7th or on December 2nd when you take the lead to vote in a special voting. Thank you very much for coming.
You do the tree version, but I wanted to look at this one. Address it very well. The police has issued a statement.